Hi, I'm Theo.
And I'm Scarlett.
And welcome to the THEO'S Book Club podcast, where we talk about queer books.
And creamy bechamel sauce.
Today we are talking about Manhunt by Gretchen Felker-Martin.
Make sure you check out our website, theosbookclub.com, where you can read more of Theo's thoughts on the book. You can find a link to get your own copy of the book, and you can join the conversation in our forums.
And if you're like Scarlett and prefer to read with your ears, you can check out theosbookclub.com/audible, where you can sign up for a free trial and listen to all your favorite books.
That's theosbookclub.com/AUDIBLE to start your free trial.
And the best part is, you get a free book download you can keep forever.
If you like this, please share it with your friends and family. Heck, you could even push the like button or subscribe.
Now off to the episode.
Queer books and queer topics and queer people that won't stop talking. So read and chat it up at Theo's Book Club.
Welcome back, Scarlett.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm getting nervous looking at the picture.
You should be nervous. We got a fun one today, and by fun I mean wild.
How wild?
Like wild.
What's it called?
It's called Manhunt.
Whoa.
And before we get into it, we have to do what we always do.
Okay.
So Scarlett, tell me what this book is about.
Okay.
Based on the cover.
Let me describe this image to the listeners at home.
Yeah.
We have two plums in sort of a red, like mesh produce kind of bag situation.
Mm-hmm.
One, they're like obviously testicles. Like they're plums, but they're like plums. Wink. One of them has a bite taken out of it. Mm-hmm. And then they like low-key look like they're dripping blood.
Yeah.
So
what's this book about, Scarlett?
First of all, family-friendly comedy.
Yeah, nailed it.
Well, they're going to go kill a guy by his testicles.
By his testicles.
But
Kill him. Death by testicle.
that's what I said.
All right. That's your final answer? So
Well,
kill a
no.
man based on tentacle.
Tentacle.
Wow.
Wow.
Tentacle.
This is really taking a turn.
Oh, you haven't seen anything yet.
No, I've seen these plums. That's what I've seen.
Sorry, plums wink.
Yeah.
That's where we started. That's very important distinction.
That's how you say it. What do I think it's about? Yeah, I think there is a man. We are hunting him.
Okay.
Okay, but maybe biting the testicles is like a sexy thing. Maybe that's like
Oh.
a lot of guys like that.
Okay.
I've heard. I wouldn't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not in my experience.
Not in.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Tell me, what is it about? How close am I?
So it's about...
Plum man is hunted. Testicles are bitten. He dead.
So there's essentially a plague that ravages the world.
There's a plague.
Don't know what that's like.
If you look at this cover with these nibbled on plums,
Oh my god.
no one said plague.
Plague. There's a plague.
Okay.
And it's ravaging people with
Testicles?
certain testosterone levels.
Oh.
So most like actual men, as they refer to them in the book. And the story follows two trans women who have to keep their estrogen levels high enough that they actually don't fall victim to the plague.
Wow.
AKA, they will hunt these feral men, the ones being affected by the virus, and eat their testicles because of the estrogen levels.
The estrogen levels in the testicles.
Yeah, like the testicles have estrogen, so it helps keep their estrogen levels high.
Curious.
It's like one of the most purest forms I think they can have access to in this like dilapidated
They're just
world.
freebasing testicles so they don't get the plague.
They do cook them at some points when they have access.
Oh, little
they prep
saute.
them. They saute the testes.
With some, veggies.
Yeah.
A nice bechamel sauce.
Yeah.
I assume that's what you put on testicles because it's sort of like white and creamy.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Apologies to listeners and watchers alike for that comment.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny.
It's not funny. It's also disgusting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. You are the one that brought the book with the eaten plums, so you cannot come for me on this
Eaten
day.
plums wink.
You cannot say that I'm the disgusting one today.
Anyways, so that's kind of the premise. Obviously, the villains of the story being TERFs are kind of the villains. So women who define themselves as real women find these trans women dangerous.
Manhunt, the J.K. Rowling story.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Ooh.
There's some juicy stuff in there. And
Plums.
I'm not talking about testicles. So obviously this is like a horror thriller novel. So if you're like, don't enjoy gore or like body horror, I do not recommend this book or be in a good place to read something like this. Like it's very like it's reminiscent of The Walking Dead. Like it's very like body horror, like feral people, zombie kind of type. stuff.
Okay.
Just as like a warning, you know. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. I've also seen some reviews that are like, it's just so disgusting. I'm like, what you are reading a horror novel.
You
like,
picked up a book that had obviously half-eaten testicles on the cover. Like, what did you think?
It is the genre. Obviously, I'm not like super bothered by it in a sense where I'm reading fiction.
If it were real life, you'd have an issue with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Obviously, it's a giant allegory for how we define gender.
Right.
I think I want to set that precedent at the beginning. Who is affected by the virus, right? These trans women aren't affected. Their estrogen levels are high enough that they're not becoming feral. They're not falling victim to the
Wait, so what happens though if your testosterone levels are high enough, you become feral?
Yeah, so the men in the story, as they refer to them, they call them like a new man. Like a new man is like the ones that are ravaged by the plague. It's these new men, as they refer to them, ravaged by the plague, who become like feral. They're like they're again like body horror stuff. They're like disformed and like incredibly like sexually.
Sounds hot.
I guess no, it's actually the exact opposite. it's a lot of like sexual assault and because they have no.
I take it all back actually
because there's no inhibitions and they're like complete like they're like zombified like sex crazed feral men. But yeah, these trans women, they are very diligent about their estrogen levels and they aren't becoming feral. And even with this physical proof that they are not currently feral, the TERFs are after them.
TERFs be turfing.
Do you want to describe to listeners
Here's my question though. If the obvious solution for the men not going feral is just like have some estrogen, why isn't just everyone having estrogen?
Yeah, good question. But I think this is the question the book poses. How do we define gender? Okay. Right? Like this is an absolute extreme example of, you know, gender and what this virus is affecting and who it isn't. Yeah. But that is what the book kind of discusses. And we're going to go into this more with children in the book. So obviously these TERFs obviously have a problem with trans people, but kids who were born right before the virus kind of appeared are like being castrated so that their testosterone levels don't rise.
I bet the choirs just pop off in this world.
All the little
the Miami Boys Choir is just so excited about what's going on over here.
No, so this is kind of the thing. It's like, so you think it's okay to essentially keep the T levels down of your young, like, children, but when it's a fully grown trans adult who have control over their own bodies, you're like, no, that's not okay. We're gonna kill those trans people. Right. That's kind of like the
it's
whole
fine
thing.
If I mutilate my child's genitals, but if you do it by choice, yikes.
So that's like a whole thing in the book too. Who gets to decide what's okay? It's like, you're telling me this trans adult isn't okay, but you don't want your child to obviously become feral, so you're doing what it takes to survive. Wow. Like, obviously you have a 10-year-old child who's about to hit puberty. You're not going to let them become feral if you have a very easy way of keeping...
Easy solution. Yeah. Just sort of off the top of, like, the things I've heard about the book so far, I don't know if I want to read this one. This sounds spoopy.
Well, that would require you being able to read.
We have already established on this podcast that I do have the capacity for reading. Right. It's a desire. Mm-hmm. It's a motivation. It's a... Some would call it a neurodivergence. Medical professionals would call it a neurodivergence. Yeah. I hesitate to ask. Yeah. What's your favorite quote from the spoopy castrating book?
This is a good one.
Okay.
Which kind of bring us into...
Is there a bad one?
Well, there's lots of like gory ones. Oh. No, this one is actually going to bring us into a next point I want to make. Wow. With the world as we know it too. Obviously, this is a book that came out recently about a pandemic, right?
Oh, is this a pandemic book?
Well, I just said plague like 16 times.
Well, right? Yeah, but there's been other plagues, but is this like a most recent plague book?
Yeah, I mean, it came out this year, 2022.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You're really on the pulse of it, eh?
I got my finger on the pulse, you know it.
Stop fingering the pulse. Go ahead.
I know the world's dead, but that means we get more of a say in what happens to the people left in it, not less.
I don't understand. One more time.
We're going to think about it. Okay. We're going to take a little break. We'll come back. I'll read it again, and we're going to discuss what that means. Okay.
I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. We've really enjoyed talking to you about the books today. We just want to take this moment to let you know about Audible. Really fantastic service where you can actually listen to books. You don't have to read. How cool is that? If you go to theosbookclub.com/audible, that's theosbookclub.com/audible, you can start a free trial today. And the best part is you'll get to download a book and keep that one for free. So after you've heard it, you can hear it again whenever you want. Audible. Noise. Okay, give me the quote one more time because I did not understand.
Yeah, that break was too much for you.
Wow.
I'll read one more time. So, I know the world's dead, but that means we get more of a say in what happens to the people left in it, not less.
When they say the world's dead, they mean like it's the end of the world.
Yeah, like this is like a this has affected like the world.
No, but sure, pandemics affects the world, but like you get
But this is like a Walking Dead situation.
This is actually like, and we are aware of the apocalypse happening
like
currently.
This is an apocalyptic event. Like most of the population is like gone. Like the people with testosterone levels over a certain
we've
amount
lost
are, like,
the ability
feral.
to reproduce. The world can no longer handle humans.
Yeah.
Okay, so the world is dead.
The world is dead.
I understand the first three words.
But
now.
also we haven't lost the ability to reproduce because some trans women, that's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
We have not lost the ability to reproduce.
Okay. What's the rest of the quote again?
Okay, one more time for Scarlett. I know the world's dead, but that means we get more of a say in what happens to the people left in it, not less. It's not just like the world is ending, the rules are out the window, every man or every person for themselves. Right? It's like we are like a smaller population and we are now more closely linked into what's happening. We have way more of a say as to like who's left. So when these like TERFs are making it their sole mission to kill trans people in this world and on our world, it's like now it's a way smaller group of people. It's like, but maybe help them. Maybe you could just help them. So
in the context of this quote, is this then like they're saying this in a negative way, like the TERFs are killing the trans folks and so the people that are left are the TERFs?
Yeah.
To make all the decisions. Oh.
No, that's not the context of the quote.
Oh, okay.
The context of the quote is like we literally have more of a say when there's less people.
Oh, okay.
Right? We're all connected over this one thing that's happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like our sole thing should be survival. It's like I'm surviving feral men, but also like a group of TERFs that just want me dead.
Right.
It's like we have a bigger pressing issue in hand here.
Yeah.
Do we want to describe what TERFs are for the audience?
Yeah, go for it.
Do you want to?
I want to see the definition that you have Googled and written out in your notes and have a dictionary definition.
I have not written a Google definition of this because I just know what a TERF is.
I Googled it. It's J.K. Rowling. Okay. It's just her picture. It's just her picture. And then the like sub meaning, you know how there's always like one meaning, two meaning. The second meaning is actually her pen name, which is male name that she writes under.
This is a whole other, that's a whole thing.
Anyway, go ahead, tell the folks.
Well, it's essentially feminists who don't believe trans women are real women by their standards, by their definition. Right. Real women. Again, this book poses the question: what is a real woman? What is a real man? Right? Because we have a bunch of feral men in this world that we call new men. What does that mean? Is
that supposed to be like a allegory or metaphor or whatever for these alpha men on TikTok? These boys who are like, I'm a real boy.
Could be for sure. Because one of my favorite characters is a trans man named Robbie. And it's like, how does he navigate the world being a man? But he's not feral, obviously. Right. Because his T levels aren't as high enough to be affected by the...
Right.
So it's like, it's interesting watching him associate with everyone now and identifying as a man. And because he is a man, but he's not feral. So like, so it's also like, where does that leave him? Where does that leave that definition of gender? Right? If we're just saying men in this world become feral, that's also not accurate either.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Whose plums are on the cover and who bites them?
Feral person's plums are on the cover, and people who want the estrogen from them are biting them.
Oh, this isn't one specific set of plums?
No. We have our true trans...
This represents all the plums.
We have Fran and Beth, our two trans
characters. What are their names?
Fran and Beth.
Fran and Beth. Okay.
Who we see at the start of the novel, like hunting these feral men, and then but also.
I want to see that movie.
Exactly.
That sounds so fun.
But they like harvest the testicles as well to bring back to a lab to like for trans people and the estrogen levels too.
That sounds like a really fun updated version of like those old Cabela Big Game Hunter video games.
Wow. What are you talking about?
You didn't ever play those games where you're like, it's like an arcade game where you have like a gun
that's what you're talking
and
about.
you like shoot the deer or
I don't know what they
whatever.
were called. It's the shooting game.
Cabela's, it's like the company that
Okay.
sponsors them or whatever. They're like a hunting outfitters brand. Some of us grew up in the country and others didn't. And all people are welcome here.
We accept everyone.
We accept
I think
everyone.
is the point of this
Yeah.
episode. Something else I want to bring up, because there's obviously a lot of cis straight women in the story.
Oh.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Women, of course. Again, what is gender?
Yeah.
How do we describe gender in this world and
I don't
our
know
world
her.
as well? I don't know her. I don't know them. Women who stay silent are implicit in being transphobic.
Oh, yeah.
It's a theme that's brought up a lot in the book.
Yeah.
There's one situation where Beth ends up having a consensual like hookup with a cis woman who then like reports her, like obviously has like certain feelings about it afterwards. And it's like, and then this kind of opens the conversation. You are transphobic if you let people be transphobic, right? Like you can't be complicit. Like that makes you complicit, right? Bystanders are complicit. I think we're finding more and more. Do you agree?
Yeah. Like, doesn't everyone agree with that?
No, I don't think.
Who doesn't agree with that?
Do you want me to call them?
Yeah. Could you get them on the phone, please?
Yeah. Do we have an email list?
So that I can be like, do you understand how things work?
There's people who are like, it's not my responsibility to get involved.
I don't think they understand how responsibility works.
Well, that's the problem. If you're dating someone who's transphobic, you are transphobic. You can't be like, oh, my boyfriend is transphobic, but I'm not. It's like, well, okay. I mean, you seem like this is. I feel like a lot of people don't see it this way.
I don't know. I feel like that's something we've been taught since we were kids. If you see a bully on the playground, go tell a teacher. You don't be a bystander. Like, that all feels like sort of part of the same lesson.
Right, but I think a lot of cis people don't understand that being silent in situations where they have maybe the platform or power to speak up makes them complicit in it. I've said I take a shot every time I say complicit. It's like, that's not my area to get involved in. I'm like, but maybe you're the one that has the power to stand up right now and say something.
I feel like that's part of the language we use around situations like that, where it's like, this is a trans issue, this is a woman's issue, this is a black folks issue, this is, what I mean? But when in reality, it's the issue of the oppressor,
Right.
not the victim.
Yeah.
Because the issue isn't a woman's issue, it's misogyny. The issue isn't a trans issue, it's transphobia.
Right.
The issue isn't a black person's issue, it's white supremacy.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I know I am. I'm incredibly intelligent.
Okay, well, so you identify as a cis woman, right?
Yeah.
I identify as a cis male. So reading this book, there's only so much I can, say about it or get from it as not a woman, right?
Right.
And I've read some like wild reviews about this book saying like it's an attack on women, it's gross, it's awful.
And that's how you find a TERF in the comments.
Thank you. And this is my point. Those comments very much read to me like you didn't A, get what the book was saying about like gender in general, and B, like I don't see it as an attack on women. I see it as an attack on TERFs, which is like a good thing.
Yeah.
Based on everything I've described to you about the book as a cis woman, what are your thoughts?
What, that it's an attack on women or that it's an attack on TERFs?
Both.
I mean, it's not an attack on women.
Right.
I haven't read the book from what you've described.
Yeah.
That's
Unless I've grossly
unless
misunderstood
you don't read
book.
and you've just like made it up.
I just like lost the ability for like cognitive thinking while reading this book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these things happen.
These things happen. Yeah.
Yeah, not an attack on women, clearly pointing out the hypocrisy of the gender binary. And TERFs bad, I think, is the subtitle.
Yeah.
Manhunt, TERFs bad.
That's the sequel.
Oh, can't wait.
Gretchen, we have a proposition.
Cabela's Big Hunt 8, TERFs bad.
Yeah, Gretchen, have you considered
Can't
partnering?
wait for you to understand what Cabela's means.
We'll go to an arcade. We'll partner. We'll make sure there's a partnership with. We'll do it like a Manhunt X Cabela's.
We'll go to a
game in the
Bass
arcades.
Pro Shop.
Yeah. Oh, we'll find some TERFs there for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Any TERFs? And they'll go,
I'm surprised
"Over here."
you know what a Bass Pro Shop is.
Well, okay. I know what a
Well,
Bass Pro.
I've been to the
in
mall.
one. Yeah, I've like walked into one.
They have nice socks. I assume that's the only thing you buy there.
I don't think I've ever purchased anything from a Bass Pro Shop.
Okay, well, I get socks there because they're really good for
Is
winter.
Bass Pro Shops Canadian, or is that like a worldwide company?
It strikes me as being incredibly American.
I was gonna say to those listening, if you don't want to, this is me. I'm like, I've been in one once. I'm like, people might not know what a Bass Pro Shop is.
I think there's a strong chance that a lot of our listeners won't know what a Bass Pro Shop is.
You've probably seen. You've definitely
They've heard me
seen
say
one.
Cabela and are like, does she mean Shawn Mendes' ex-girlfriend? Camilla?
I will not lie to
Cabela?
you. I have thought that every time you said Cabela.
I know you did. I saw it in your eyes.
Not that I'm a fan or anything, but not that I'm.
She's a lovely voice.
Yeah,
She's a beautiful woman.
except that one note in Cinderella where they did her really dirty.
She's in Cinderella?
The new one. She is Cinderella. Ooh, okay. We got
I don't think I've seen. I thought that wasn't the newest one with that blonde-haired woman with the blue dress.
That's a Disney movie. That's a Cinderella remake.
And this is a different Cinderella that Disney didn't do.
Right. This is Cinderella. It's a jukebox musical movie with like Idina Menzel as the stepmother. And
Why?
again, shall I call them up?
Hello?
Beep, beep, beep. Why did you make this?
Cabela's?
Shawn Mendes, why did your ex-girlfriend make this movie?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I've learned something new today about Cinderella.
And I learned what these shooting arcade games are called. Neither of these are takeaways from the book we're talking about. I do want to make that very clear.
But they will feature in the film adaptation.
They're watching Cinderella while playing this arcade game as the plague.
That's how the arcade game is how they train to catch the plums.
Catch the plums, wink.
Great movie title.
Catch the plums.
Oscar buzz.
That could be a Clue sequel. Mr. Plum? Catch the plums?
No one wants a sequel.
Oh, that's okay.
Do you wear clothes? How about shirts? This is a really cool one from everybody on stage. They're sick. Watch this. Wow! You've never seen someone put on a shirt like that before. If you want to get one of these cool shirts, go to everybodyonstage.com/Theo and use the code Theo for 20% off. Theo's doing it.
One thing I wanted to point out that I thought was so funny is they refer to TERFs in the book as chromosome crusaders,
I don't know how I feel about that.
which I think is funny. It's what a funny thing.
Chromosome crusaders.
Yeah, like why do you care so much about
Yeah.
our chromosomes? I thought that was funny. I literally wrote it down. I wrote down.
It's such a
LOL.
mouthful when like TERFs is right there and so much funnier.
Yeah, but you need other, like, at this point, it's like they are
Like I guess it's like a whole other
unabashedly-
world.
Yeah.
You want like a whole other.
Like that is their baseline.
Well, oh, did the TERFs come up with the word themselves?
Who?
The TERFs. Did they say? And we're
Well, no,
we're
it's,
the
it's
chromosome
our
crusaders.
world. I think TERF is now their baseline.
Are there no women that aren't TERFs?
Like there are.
Oh,
Yeah.
but they're the minority.
It doesn't really go into that.
Okay.
You know, like the ones we're really seeing are
Basically,
trying to
what I
kill.
want to know is who came up with the term chromosome crusaders.
Again, I will call Gretchen after this
Okay,
episode.
okay.
I'll find out for you. One thing I wanted to talk about for sure: transphobic behavior in the queer community.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you're part of the community does not mean that you can't be transphobic.
Right.
Beth in
yeah.
the book talks about their experience, like when the virus was kind of starting and it was on the news. Her roommates kicked her out because they thought she was like a time bomb.
Oh.
And it's like, that's transphobia. That's transphobic, right?
Yeah.
And again, that's obviously an allegory for transphobic behavior in the queer community. Like Beth was living with like a group of queer people.
Okay.
Don't do it.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Did I fix it?
I think so.
I think that did it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we're as queer people, we're not free of being transphobic or.
I think you're describing intersectionality, where just because you experience an oppression in this way doesn't mean you don't have privilege in another way.
Exactly. And then, well, privilege is also good. So in this world, who has the most privilege? Straight white women. Right? The men are fair. Like they're no longer even considered.
They're just running wild
They
through
are
the
literally
streets.
running wild through the streets. They are like full zombies, like feral zombies.
All the men, full stop. Is it inevitable that anyone with a certain testosterone level will get this
Yes.
plague? There's like, okay,
Yeah,
so
there's no instance in the book where
there's no like I tested positive today. I
no.
don't know how it happened.
No, you are feral. Like there's no cure. There's a wild scene where like they end up at a compound and a character named Sophie is like running this compound and they let them in, and then the Indy, which is like someone that's been, I think I don't know if like a scientist, but like acts as like scientist doctor in this world, like is helping Fran and Beth with their estrogen levels, but is like, I guess like a medic. I don't know what the actual, it's kind of, Indy does everything at this point in this world. Sophie brings her down, and Sophie's keeping her feral husband chained and says like she wants to have a baby with him. So Indy has to like extract the semen. It's wild. Like it is absolutely wild.
This book is not for the faint of heart.
No, like not at all. Like it's not like you have to be.
Get
like,
it for your kids
ready.
this Christmas.
I won't say any more about that. I want you to experience it for yourself if you do read the book, but it's wild.
And that's how I would summarize the plot. TERFs bad.
Yeah. Don't
Hunt plum, TERF bad.
be transphobic. It's gross.
Do I get to do that thing where I do the plot again?
Yeah.
Okay, I just did it. TERFs bad.
All right. Scarlett, do you want to take another shot at?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can do a very
Okay.
good job this time. Fran and Beth.
Ooh, you got the names right.
I got 2 names. Fran and Beth cook a lovely meal for each other. And there's sort of fresh fruit and vegetables that they've, displayed so well. They've sauteed the plums. Like I said, lovely bechamel sauce.
It's just a cooking book. It's just a cookbook.
It's a cookbook. Candlelight dinner. And
it's one of those
just-
cookbooks with like stories in between each recipe.
Yeah.
And then and this is what happened in the apocalyptic world today.
Yeah.
And here's how I prepare my testicles.
And here's something to watch out for the next time you saute testicles.
Gretchen, Manhunt cookbook? I mean,
Merch opportunity.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great. Well,
Off the rails. Wild. Yeah. This book is not for the faint of heart. Know what you're reading. It's straight up like a horror thriller type book. Know what you're getting into. The amount of, again, like I said before, the amount of comments that were like, it's disgusting. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, yes. Nobody says this about The Walking Dead. It's actually a very popular show, right?
I can't watch it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
But I don't think you're going to go online. All right. Well, this was a lovely chat. Yeah, TERFs bad. Please just love each other. That's my
You should
takeaway.
always have conversations with your friends where they go, well, this was a lovely chat.
I'm trying to wrap up
And you
everything we
did a
talked
great
about.
job. You did a great job.
You
Yeah.
seem to really love that.
Yeah, it was good. Hey, do you want to go have some plums?
Stupid.
Okay.
Stupid. Yeah. Let's challenge what we think about. Oh, wow.
I was helping you end the podcast.
I was going to say one last.
Please,
oh my God.
please
I say
give us
let's-
wisdom. Please give us wisdom.
Let's challenge what we think about gender and how we define gender. I think that's a really good takeaway from the book.
And then let's go eat some plums.
And then let's go eat some plums.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
THEO'S Book Club is executive produced by Greg Carruthers for Everybody on Stage. This episode is written by Robert Popoli and Chelsea Jane Bray. Our producer is Denise Niles with production assistance by Alicia Tablin, directed by Greg Carruthers. Our theme song is written and performed by Robert Popoli and mixed and mastered by Rob Russo.
TheO'sBookClub.com